I'm going to tell you guys something very interesting. We're going to answer the question, is it better in Judaism to be more strict or no? Now, my dear Talmidah initially said, yes, more stringent. You heard Naomi said, no, he's no good. Yes, good. Everybody's confused. Why? Because in one sense, it's good to be stringent. We heard from the story of Rabbi. He was stringent in regards to shaking hands. It's good. Thank you. But, sometimes it's not good. One isn't not good. We heard a different story yesterday. Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, somebody came to him, one of the Avrachim came to him and said, Rabbi, can I, from now on, get your permission to wear my tefillin all day so I can study while I'm wearing tefillin all day like the tzaddikim in the Gemara? And Rav Mordechai Eliyahu says no. Why no? Even though it's a mitzvah, even though it's fantastic, he says if this additional stringency will make you think in your heart that you're better than everybody else in the kollel, one time, your whole life, it's not worth it. Why would you think you're better? Because you have 500 people in the kollel, and you're the only one that's put on tefillin. So it's going to be distinguishable. So in essence, even if they're not saying anything to you, you're going to see yourself. You're going to say, wait, I'm wearing tefillin, nobody else is wearing tefillin. You're going to feel good about yourself. If you feel good about yourself, that you're better than anybody else, one time in your entire life, and that's essence, that dust of pride enters your heart, it was better off you never added the stringency. Why? Because that's how much Hashem hates pride. So we see that stringency has a time and place. Now, the interesting part is that in both cases, there's a permission from the Torah to do, there's a permission from the Torah not to do. Meaning, the Avrech came to his rabbi, it says in the Torah to do it. But the rabbi said no. Why? Because he knows the student, in essence, the rabbi is right for saying no. At the time of Rabbi, there is a leniency to shake hands, but the rabbi said no. Why? Because it's, and so on and so forth. Meaning that it's not black and white. But in both cases, you see that it's not just a black and white law, there's also something called Da'at Torah, the opinion of the Torah, based on this specific situation. What happens when you do not seek the opinion of the Torah? And you seek your own opinion? I mean, after all, Tzelem Elokim, Kadosh Baruch Hu created you in His image. No, you're so special. Your opinion should count for something. No. After all, you're smart. You finished a few Masechtot in the Gemara. Some people even call you Rabbi. You know, Chacham, no. Your opinion, no. The Gemara in Masechet Yevamot says, someone that does not seek the assistance of a rabbi, meaning someone that does not ask his rabbi questions, and in essence becomes their own rabbi, the Gemara in Masechet Yevamot, page 109b, says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates this person. Why? Because in essence, they're so proud that they think they know everything. And we have one of the stories that you're going to listen, if you understand what I'm about to say to you, you may have to grab out your chairs. Some time ago, I told you of a story that's in the Gemara, Masechet Chaya, page 4b. It says that there was a certain woman that the Satan decided to take out of the world, but by mistake. Rav Bivi, one of the Tanaim, was friends with the Satan. Satan likes tzaddikim. So he came to him and said, you want me to show you what I do? And he said, yeah. So, the Rav Bivi was shown by the Satan how the Satan takes out neshamot. So, Satan tells one of his servants, go bring me the neshama of Miriam Megadela, Miriam the caretaker. Go bring me. And the Servant goes, brings the neshama, here's Miriam. Satan tells him, hey, it's the wrong Miriam. I didn't ask you for this Miriam. It's the wrong Miriam. Okay, so should I bring this one back? He goes, no, this one, leave it anyway. Go bring the other one anyway. We have to bring it. It's time for her to die. So it's a peculiar story, and then we go into the details, how, who, what, when, and how, but we're not going to go into that because we've already discussed that in the past. But just remember, now who's this Miriam? And why does she deserve to die? I mean, we should know. I mean, her name is mentioned. If it was just some woman, then it doesn't matter who she is. Then why would the Gemara mention her name? If it's your name is mentioned, there's a reason for it. Meaning there's significance here of who and what and how. Who is this Miriam? You're not going to find that in the Gemara Masechet Chagigah, page 4b. You're going to find it somewhere else. You have to go to Gemara Masechet Gitin. Last page, page 90. Gemara Masechet Gitin says, what are the appropriate ways for a woman to behave and for a husband to let a woman behave? He says there are some husbands that the way they eat is the way they treat their wife, in essence. And some people that if they see a fly in their drink, they take the fly out and drink the water. He says that's normal. That's a normal husband. That's a person that allows his wife to deal with regular people, not to banter around and start talking to every guy on the street and so on. But if it's family, if it's friends, if it's hello, it's goodbye, general basic behavior, he's the bank teller, here's the money, thank you very much, basic stuff, normal, necessary conversation. This is what it represents. Because today, any one of us sees a fly in our drink, we throw it out, but that's because we're all rich in comparison to the people of 2,000 years ago. Back then, you know, if you weren't rich, you weren't going to throw out the water right away. So someone that just saw there's something that's flying in their water, they would take it out and drink it. And that, in essence, makes them normal, representing a normal husband which, in essence, he allows his wife to act normal. If there's a, let's say, UPS guy comes to the house, she's able to answer the door, all right, thank you very much, goodbye, takes the box, no problem. It's allowed to take the box. She's not hugging the guy. She's not saying, hey, how's your family, where's your kids, where you guys vacation? No, that's not allowed. But just basic conversation, thank you, no problem. That's normal. Normal behavior, no problem. It says, then there's a guy that's a Rasha. What's this guy that's a Rasha? Guy that's a Rasha that allows his wife to go out without modesty, sleeveless, and without kisui rosh, and he doesn't care even if she goes into a bathhouse and there's still men there. He's like a guy that sees the fly and drinks the fly with the water. He doesn't care about nothing. That's a Rasha. But then there's a guy that sees the fly, throws out the fly and the water together. He throws out everything. He says that's extreme fanatic behavior. Like who? Like a person by the name of Papus ben Yehuda. Who's Papus ben Yehuda? Papus ben Yehuda lived at the time of the Gemara. And it says that Papus ben Yehuda saw that his wife was one of the most beautiful women alive. Something special. And he says there's no way that people are not going to look at her. No way. So, for modesty reason, honey, whatever you need, I'll get it for you. Go on Amazon.com, order whatever you want. You don't need to go to the store. You don't need to go to the mall. You want something, I'll give it for you. But you're not allowed to leave the house. Not allowed to leave the house. No store, no deli, no snot, no work, nothing. Whatever you need, I'll bring it to the house. No problem. And Papus ben Yehuda would leave the the house and lock the door behind him, not allowing his wife to leave the house. The most she can do was look outside the porch to see the outside. And the Gemara says this, wait, it's a mitzvah? You think she's modest because of this? You think he's a tzaddik because of this? Says, look what happened. On Yom Kippur, Pappus' wife, Miriam, the same Miriam from the Gemara Masechet Chagigah, it says. She's had it. Papu says to her, Ani, I'm going to shul, tzaddik, fasting, we'll pray all day, see you tomorrow. He leaves. And Rabotai Yekarim, this guy called Yosef Pandita. Notice as the husband left, and he knows Miriam from back in the day. He goes, Miriam, when are you ever going to come out? And Miriam says, she's so annoyed already. She hasn't been out of the house in so long. She says, Yosef, when are you going to save me? He says, today. Climbs to the house, takes her out of the house, and they run away together and sin adultery on Yom Kippur. Now, Rabotai, we say what happened from the sin. What happened from the sin is they had a son. Their son, who is their son? Their son, Rabotai, don't jump the gun yet. Don't start naming names yet. Don't start naming names. It's not nice. Lashon hara. Their son, Rabotai, is named in the Gemara Masechet Shabbat. But if you read Masechet Shabbat, unless you know what Rav Ephraim Sheikhye wrote in his Achtov LiYisrael, Chelik Bet, all the commentary from the Chatam Sofer and other Chachamim, you're not going to know what it says in Masechet Shabbat. Why? Because Masechet Shabbat, page 104b says, are we allowed to draw on our hands, make marks on our hands with our fingers? Is that violating Shabbat? Is that considered writing? And it says, well, it should be considered writing because there was a person by the name of Ben Sidata. Ben Sidata, he wrote all types of witchcraft on his skin. And because anytime you would get the witchcraft, the Egyptians would catch you at the border, and they don't want you to take the witchcraft with you, because that's their, in essence, that's their possession, that's their stuff. So he couldn't write the spells on paper, so he wrote on his skin. So he wrote it, he wrote on his skin, and it worked. Gemara says, no, we don't learn halachot from crazy people. He's a shotelis, Ben Sidata. So the Baalei Tosfot says, who's this Ben Sidata? Who is this Ben Sidata? Ben Sidata means Ben Sota, the son of the wayward woman. Who's the wayward woman? The Chatam Sofer says the wayward woman is the same Miriam that cheated on her husband, Pappus ben Yehuda, with Yosef Pandita. So who is the son? Okay, this is the wayward woman. She cheated. Chatam Sofer says a chidush of a lifetime. Who's the son? Yeshu Anotzri. Yeshu imach shimo vezichro. That's how he came to the world. From what? From his mother cheating on our original husband with some goy. That's how Yeshu came to the world, Rabotai. Where did he come from? Mitzvah. Modesty. There's a modesty in our life. Who asked you to be that modest? You lock yourself in a house. Meaning, Rabotai, that when a person does not listen to Da'at Torah and double checks themselves, even your mitzvah can turn into the biggest sin that's ever happened in history. How many millions of Jews have died because of this sin? That looked like a mitzvah. She wanted to be modest inside the house. He wanted her to be modest inside the house. No guy ever sees. No one ever sees on her. Who asked you to do this? Who asked you? There are halachic permissions to do certain things. There are halachic restrictions to not do certain things. A person needs to know what to do, what not to do, based on the Torah, not based on their logic. Now, when a person takes things to their own mind and they start deciding this is the halakha, comes from pride. Because they assume they're right and they don't have to double check. All of us have pride. This is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu had mercy on us and He allowed us to write the oral Torah as well. Why? Because now we can't use this pride as an excuse. Why? Because you could find out whether you're right or wrong by simply asking your rabbi, by simply looking at the Torah. Is what you said and what you think written in a book in a Torah, or is it simply your own idea that you're trying to be overly righteous? Because Shlomo HaMelech says, Al tiyeh tzadik harbeh. Don't be overly righteous. Don't be more righteous than what the Torah says. So does that mean that every woman could just talk to anybody? No. Does that mean that every woman has to be closed up and be so modest that no one ever sees her? No. So what does it mean then? It means you have certain things. And that's what we're going to go over now. Get off the floor, go back on your chairs now. Gemara, Masechet Nedarim, page 66a. Tana Rabbi Ishmael says, he concerned themselves with the issues of protecting Bnot Israel. Protecting Bnot Israel. He took care of Bnot Israel, all types of Jewish women. And the Gemara Masechet Nedarim talks about all types of swears. People make a vow to do something, and if you say a vow, you don't keep it, you have a serious problem. But there are certain conditions that you can break a vow. You have to get Talmid Chacham, or 3 to allow you to break it. So, Tana Rabbi Ishmael says, there was a certain person that made a vow. What's the vow? Not to marry his niece. Now the Chachamim, in those days, it was very common to marry your niece. In fact, it was meritorious to marry your niece, your sister's daughter. It says there's already love and affection between the family, it's allowed. It's not a sister, Chas v'shalom. It's the niece, it's the sister's daughter. But this guy says, no, I'm not marrying her. Even though the Chachamim say it's a good thing, I'm not marrying her. Why I'm not marrying her? Because she's ugly. She's ugly, I don't want to marry her. She looks like Saba Geppetto. She's not for me. Nose over here, eyes over here, not for me. No. So, they brought the parents brought the girl to Rabbi Ishmael. It says, look, now that our own uncle doesn't want to marry her, no one's going to want to marry her. Why? It looks bad for the whole family. So Rabbi Ishmael told his daughters, take care of her. Beautify her. Beautify her. They started taking care of her, putting some makeup, did her hair, do, a whole manicure, pedicure, redone, everything redone. After she finished, Rabbi Ishmael himself brought her to this uncle. He says, my dear son, is this the one that you made a neder not to marry? I said, no, her, of course I want to marry her. No, I didn't mean it. And at that moment, Rabbi Ishmael says, Bnot Israel naotem. Bnot Israel are beautiful. It's only poverty that makes them ugly. Why? Because they can't take care of themselves. Similar to the situation we had in Egypt, the women made themselves ugly on purpose. They put ashes on their face and so on. Why? Because they were scared if they looked beautiful, then the Egyptians would rape them. But generally speaking, Bnot Israel are beautiful women. Now, the Gemara continues, and it says that there was a husband that had it with his wife. He says, I'm making a neder, I'm making a vow, that unless Rabbi Ishmael himself finds one thing good about you, one beautiful thing about you, I'm getting divorced. And Rabbi Akiva says, one of the conditions that a husband can divorce his wife is if she's ugly. That's us. So now it's a little funny story, but it's not funny. Why? Because you see what's going on. How much are tzaddikim worried about Bnot Israel? Now, he can't just divorce her. He has to get the permission of the rabbi. So he says, go to the rabbi, and I want him himself to give me something good about you. That's how ugly you are. So this poor woman goes to Rabbi Ishmael, and Rabbi Ishmael is not meeting her. The people, he says to his daughter, go deal with her. You tell me what. They tell him what's going on. Her husband says he's going to divorce her because she's ugly. And unless you can find something good about her, he wants a divorce. He wants permission to get divorced. So Rabbi Ishmael says, well, maybe she has a really nice round head. Maybe it's really nice. Her head is really round. And the daughter said, no, her head is like an egg. Shem Yachem. It's like an egg. So from here to here. She don't have a nice head. Says maybe she has nice hair. Nice hair. Maybe it's curly. Maybe it's straight, shiny, something. She goes, no, Shem Yachem. Her hair is like a bush tree going in all directions like she got electrocuted. Hashem Yachem. No hair. So he says, maybe she has nice eyes, pretty eyes, nice pretty eyes, nice green eyes, brown eyes, some eyes, nice. He goes, oh, Hashem Yachem, she has eyes like a cow. They're perfect circle, Hashem Yachem. What kind of eyes this woman has? So then he says, okay, so maybe she has nice ears. Has nice ears, maybe her ears are nice. Meaning he's looking for permission to find something nice about this girl so she can stay married, miskena. Who's going to marry this troll? So the Gemara says, nah, Hashem Yachem, what nice ears. Her ears are thick and heavy and fat. Hashem Yachem. She has the beats, headphones on her ears without the beats. That's her ears. Says, okay, Rabbi Ishmael says, okay, maybe she has a nice little nose, nice little cute little peachy nose, something nose. Says, what nose? Ooh, what, Hashem Yachem miskena, this girl, what she has, her nose looks like it's indented in her face. Rachmana litzlan. Okay, maybe she has nice lips. Because what lips? What lips? Her lips are thick, they're like a whale. Says her lips. Maybe she has a nice neck. Oh, neck. Her neck is crooked. Says, okay, maybe she at least has a nice stomach. She goes, what nice stomach? It's several people. When she moves, it's like the earth is moving with her. She makes a spin. The year ends. Hashem Yachem. Oh, no, it's not a nice stomach. Okay, maybe she has nice legs at least. She has nice legs. He's asking his daughters, go find something nice about this poor girl. While we're all laughing at our expense, he's trying to find something nice. Maybe she has nice legs. It's a real Gemara. She has nice legs. She goes, no, her legs are like the duck. Thick on top, thin on the bottom. Ooh, we're not even sure how it's holding up all this weight. Maybe she has a nice name. This is what her name? Her name is Lichluchit. Lichluchit means like dirt. Lichluch is like it's dirt. Says Rabbi Ishmael. I found the thing that's nice. What's nice? Her name is appropriate to her body. Just like she's a Baal Mum, she has a deformed body. The name belongs to this body. No get. He has to stay with her. Ishtabach Shimola. That's how much Rabbi Ishmael loved the daughters of Am Yisrael. Why? Now he says, okay, let this guy go find somebody else. Poor girl, who's going to she be with? He has to find something, but he can't invent the law. He says, I found something nice. What's something nice? Her name is nice. Her name belongs to her body. Sometimes you have some girl that she's called Sunshine, but she only brings death to the world. Her personality is dark. She's called Sunshine, but she's dark. Sometimes you have a girl named Simcha, but she's depressed. Simcha, happiness, but she's a manic depressant. So he says the name matches the body. That's how wise the Chachamim are, but also how much they loved Am Yisrael. Now, but here, what do we learn that has to do with our issue? Rabbi Ishmael goes over every single body part, meaning that beauty is not outside of Judaism. It's not prohibited to be beautiful. It's not asur, it's not unfounded. The people that don't know Torah think that Jewish people are like these dark people, always wear black, always like depressed or something, like we're all hiding in some cave. That's the opposite of the Torah. Why? Because we see here that beauty is very much part of Judaism. They talk about it all the time. Going to the details of body parts, beautiful nose, beautiful hair, beautiful this, beautiful that. Meaning that You're perfectly allowed to be beautiful. So where does modesty come from? It says that beautiful looks is perfectly fine as long as it's not unladylike and vulgar. Meaning, as long as it's not chasuf or gas, unladylike meaning she's walking like she's some street trash. She's walking around like she belongs to the world. Woman walks around uncovered, her whole body sees. You have to ask her, are you a piece of garbage? No, you're not a piece of garbage. Then how come you're allowing everybody to look at you? No one allows strangers to look at what's inside the house. But nobody cares if you look at their garbage. Why are you treating, as a Bat Israel, why are you treating your body as a piece of garbage, allowing everybody to look at you? Allowing everyone to look at your skin. How come? So that's not ladylike. You're treating your body like it's a piece of garbage. Anyone's allowed to look at it. So if she's beautiful, it's not a problem. But if she's unladylike in her behavior, in her clothing, if she's exposed, chasuf, or she's wearing something that attracts attention. She's moshechet, where she wears certain clothes that are extra tight, meaning that it doesn't matter what color she's wearing, it doesn't matter what pattern she has on, it doesn't even matter what she has. Why? Because she pretty much left nothing to the imagination. She walks around, it might as well she walked around naked. Why? Because it's so tight. Our entire image of our body, everybody knows. Everybody knows. So that's attractive. Or she wears certain patterns or certain types of things where she has clothing with words on her chest, or a certain design just on the chest, or pointing to the chest, or the other body parts that are, that represent that. So that's not allowed. Why? The whole thing is blank except the part with the chest. It has Nike on it, it has Fendi, it has something on it. So what is everybody going to look at naturally? Just that part where the words are. They're just going to look at that. Or there was one dress, some woman asked me if, is this modest? And you see that the dress is beautiful. Modest, mamash, beautiful. Unfortunately, the company was an Arab company because they're the only ones that sell modest clothes today. But anyway, said, oh, beautiful, but it's not allowed. Why it's not allowed? It has nothing to do with Arabs. You're allowed to buy from Arabs. If it's modest, you're allowed. Why is it not allowed? Because if you look at the design on that specific dress, it points exactly, has a certain design that points directly at the top and directly at the bottom. Meaning, those specific parts. No one is going to think about anything else other than those two things. The outfit covers the body, but the design ruins the whole thing. So there are certain clothes that are attracting. They're attracting. When she walks around, she's going to attract people's attention naturally to that part of the body. Or the clothes is not covering a part of the body. Or it's too tight, and so on and so forth. But as far as her being beautiful, perfectly fine. But there's a kosher way of being beautiful. Meaning, look like a lady, cover your body, make sure that you are not trying to actively attract attention. You're allowed to be beautiful. But if you're wearing a wig that's 3 foot long, and when you walk around, it's like one of these fancy horses you find in the movies, walking around with their fancy tails, the same thing as your hair, guess what? What do you think? What rabbi ever told you that wig is kosher? Forget the avodah zarah part. What rabbi in the history of man ever said that this long wig is kosher? You walk around, it's like the horse left the commercial. He came to your house. What happened? Who says it's allowed? Who says it's allowed? It's not modest. It's not modest. Needless to say, the whole issue with avodah zarah, the wigs coming from India, but that we've already covered many, many times. The point is that when a woman is looking to be modest, it doesn't mean she has to make herself ugly. In fact, she's not allowed to make herself ugly. She's not allowed to make herself ugly on purpose. She has to be beautiful for her husband, and she's allowed to look decent all the time. But she's not allowed to do certain things that are specifically going to attract attention. wearing specific type of clothes, specific type of streaks, specific types of cuts, and so on and so forth. But if Hashem blessed her with beauty, chavod, you have a nice kisui rosh, and the kisui rosh has diamonds on it, perfect. Yeah, but it's going to bring attention. Let her bring attention. Everybody's going to know you're a queen and you have diamonds on your head. Hopefully they'll follow the mitzvah. You're beautifying the mitzvah. You're beautifying the mitzvah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine. Oh, the dress is really expensive. Okay, let her be expensive. That's why you have money in the world. If it's modest, let her be expensive. No problem. It's a mitzvah. Hashem's going to give you the money back. But if it's immodest, it doesn't matter if it's from the $9.99 store. You're still not allowed to buy it. So, beauty is not prohibited. Immodesty is. But immodesty also comes in the form of behavior. A woman is allowed, as the Gemara said, a woman is allowed to have a cordial relationship with society. If there's some type of employee, or some type of business, or some type of family member that's a male, he's allowed to talk to her, she's allowed to talk to him about things that are necessary. Many of the Chachamim, their wives ran businesses. So what do you think? These are the Gdolei Adom, the Chafetz Chaim's wife. Ran a business. The Gaon Vilna ran a business. Many of the Chachamim, their wives ran businesses. Either farms or little stores, and there's many stories about these tzadikot. Meaning, they dealt with men. Why do you think they forced all their customers to be women? No. They dealt with men. There's customers that were men. No problem. They came, they bought, they sold from them. Sometimes they had lawsuits against them. Sometimes they had business transactions with them. Sometimes it was good. Sometimes it was bad. But whatever was necessary conversation, they had. No problem at all. What's not allowed? What's prohibited? Unnecessary stuff. So what's unnecessary stuff? Unnecessary stuff, Rabotai, is in the Gemara Masechet Kiddushin, page 78. Says, En mishtamshin ba'isha klal. We don't make use of women for no reason. What does it mean we don't make use for women for no reason? You're not allowed to say hello to a woman for no reason. What does it mean say hello to a woman for no reason? You're not allowed to socialize with her. You're allowed to say hello, as the Tosfot says over there, and Rabbi Yashiv's commentary on Masechet Kiddushin confirms as well. You're allowed to say hello to a woman, hello, goodbye, no problem. But you're not allowed to start, hey, hello, so how you doing? So where's your husband? Oh, he's not home. Where did he go? Oh, he's away for the weekend. Oh, he's doing business. How are the kids? Where's your mom? What is it? Start asking investigating questions. Private investigating. That you're not allowed. Why? It's an unnecessary conversation. But if it's necessary conversation, listen, I need to ship something to your house. Oh, is your husband home? Oh, things like that. No problem. You're conducting business. You're conducting family affairs. No problem. But if it starts becoming flirting, Hashem yirachem aleinu. Why? Because we have a story in the Torah. There was a woman by the name of Shlomit. Shlomit was a very, very nice lady. And she's one of the few women that's mentioned in the Torah by name. Only, unfortunately for her, she's mentioned in an unfavorable way. Why? She was so nice, she said hello to everybody, including the Egyptians. And the Egyptian took it seriously. So he decided, she says hi to me, she probably wants to be with me. And he ended up raping her. And from her came the person that cursed Hashem's name. From the tribe of Dan. But he didn't consider him from the tribe of Dan. Why? Because his father was a goy, but his mom was a Jew. Point is, he ended up cursing Hashem's name, and Moshe Rabbeinu killed him. Gave him a death penalty. But why? Because Shlomit was flirtatious. Hello, goodbye, how's your wife, how's the kids, how are you, what's going on, what are you guys doing for the holidays? What are you asking 500 questions? What is this, Jeopardy? What's the 500 questions? Okay, basic stuff, no problem. What does it all mean, Rabotai? It means that you're allowed to do everything, just in a kosher way. Being extreme, being stringent, is not necessarily always good. As we saw from the story of Yeshua Notzri. Came from something that looks like a mitzvah. Protect the beauty of the woman, bring her everything to the house, wine and dine her, but only to you. Looks like a mitzvah. Maybe it's a mitzvah for Mustafa. In Islam, it's a mitzvah to have 90 wives and pretty much seclude them to nothingness. For them, it's a mitzvah in Gehinom. For Am Yisrael, no, it's not a mitzvah. Why? She needs to conduct herself in the world because the Torah knows if you seclude her too much, eventually she'll explode. Needless to say, if we do that to our kids, telling kids, listen, not allowed to use phone, not allowed to use computers, not allowed to use cars, not allowed to, everything is not allowed. Guess what? One day he's not going to be a kid anymore. One day he's not going to have to listen to you anymore. One day he's 18, 19, 20, 25 years old, and he's going to find out on the phone that he's not allowed to. And dafka, because he's not allowed for 20 years, he dafka wants it. What's this not allowed in all these years? And guess what? He sees the phone for the first time, and he loses his mind. Why does he lose his mind? Why do all these religious kids that were, contained to the extreme lose their mind as soon as they see a computer for the first time at 20 years old? Lose their mind as soon as they see a phone for the first time, because they don't have any antibodies. When you have a baby, you bring your baby to the doctor, and the doctors give him a flu shot, and give him a tetanus shot, and give him all types of shots. But in reality, what is it? The shot is the actual sickness. It's the virus. Why would you, why in your right mind would you put a virus into a little baby? Because you're putting the virus on it, in him or in her, in order for him or her to develop antibodies, develop an antibiotic, to develop a defense mechanism in case it comes back bigger and stronger and out of control. That way you have already a defense system. That's when you have a defense system. If you teach your kids right and wrong, here, this is a phone. You have to use this phone in a certain way. This website allowed, BezratHashem.org allowed. Shem Yachem website not allowed. This is allowed, this is not allowed. Teaching them right and wrong, that's what teaches them a defense mechanism. They know that the bad exists and they choose the good. To simply cut out the bad and pretend like it doesn't exist, that's asking for problems. Because one day they're going to have access to the bad without any antibodies, without any antibiotics, without any defense mechanism. So they're not going to know what to do. So being extreme is not good in that aspect. But there are times you have to be extreme. When it comes to character traits. If you're an angry person, you have to be extreme. Work on yourself really, really hard not to be angry. And it's hard. If you're an arrogant person, you have to be extreme. Do everything possible to remove this pride from your heart. You have to be extreme with things like that. But when it comes to the Torah, you have to make sure you know what to do and when to do it. Last but not least, it's known among people that the color red is considered attracting. But what most people don't know is that it's not prohibited all the time. Most people think red, cancer. Not necessarily true. Rav Mazuz, the biggest Sephardic rabbi in the world today, the Gdol Ador, already said, we know that red is allowed. Not only it's not a soul, it's allowed actually. What's the source? He says, look, in a song every one of us sings on Friday night, Eshet Chayil. Eshet Chayil, Mimtza, the woman of valor. It says this Eshet Chayil that ran a business, that supported our family and so on. She, Shesh Ve'argaman Lebusha, she has linen and purple wool her clothing. But Rav Mazuz, which is the biggest expert in the world today in the Hebrew language, says that actually shesh is actually not purple, it's red. And red is allowed. So how come so many are saying it's not allowed? It says red by itself is allowed. Red that's attracting is not allowed. There are different shades of red. There are different shades of red. If it's a normal, relatively light type of red, perfectly okay, no problem. It's a red stripe, no problem. Red design, no problem. But if it's a red, like a traffic light, Hashem Yachem, no color is allowed if you look at a traffic light. Black is not allowed if it's a traffic light. You're carrying so much attention. So the point is, Rabotai, is that there are certain things that a person needs to go into the details. Find out who, what, when, and how. Don't just assume being the most strict is the best thing to do. Only an idiot thinks that strict on everything is Judaism. That's not Judaism. Strictness is actually the exact opposite of the Torah. Where do we see it from? Christianity. Christianity said, no, modesty, we're so holy that our holy men are not even allowed to be with women. And our holy women are not allowed to be with men. We have nuns and priests. What ends up happening out of this falsehood? The priests rape a bunch of little boys, and the women, the nuns, end up also doing it with boys, girls, the priests, and anyone in between, but it's all behind the scenes. So these so-called holy women are the filthiest people on earth. Throughout all of history. Not look at the stories, the personal bio stories of the popes, the original popes, and the popes throughout all of history, and their personal lives that was uncovered after on. Complete filth and disgusting. Gone nefesh of life. They were murderers, rapists, adulterers, all the sins in the book they committed. But in the eyes of the people, no, we're holy. We're not married. You're not married. You're just pretending. That's Christianity. Islam, no different. They forced the women to wear this sack in the name of righteousness. But the rich ones that allow their wives to go away once in a while on vacation, they leave Iran. Because in Iran, you show your eye already, it's already a death penalty. You wink, death penalty. They kill everybody for fun. But once they get on the plane, this is a known thing. Once these women get on the plane, they take off the black sack that they have on, and they all have almost nothing on. And they come to America or Europe, the filthiest, most disgusting behavior in the world. Wait, but I thought you're modest. No, it wasn't modest. It isn't modest. Fakers. So, Torah does not say be extreme, but also doesn't say be lenient in everything. There's times to be lenient, there's times to be strict. There's times to do this, there's times to do that. Any idiot can tell you be strict all the time and nothing's allowed. But only a chacham will tell you what's allowed and what's not allowed. When to be strict, when not to be strict. So this, Rabotai Karim, I think is very critical for all of Bnot Israel, Be'ezrat Hashem. All of us get a little bit of chizuk from this. All of the men also can encourage their wives to watch this with them. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we arrive at Rosh Hashanah much more righteous than we were over the last year. Be'ezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen.